because there's this fancy sock that everybody keeps trying to steal. So I'm gonna tell you about
Okay.
this sock.
Okay.
So I'll post a little picture of green tourmaline cabochons because this is Irol Bardum Gatalamenek, which translates to North Fight of the Ageless Tribute. This is the name of this sock. This is a sheer pigtail sock. Old craftsmanship is of the highest quality. It is encrusted with round green tourmaline cabochons, which are these like round oval kind of shaped gems. So it's got a bunch of these encrusted inside of the sock.
Okay. It's an encrusted sock. Got you.
Yeah, it is decorated with pigtail and blue peafowl bone and encircled with bands of sand pear wood. It is made from pigtail cloth, which is like a plant, fibrous plant thing that you can grow. And this object is adorned with hanging rings of brown zircon and one humped camel bone. It menaces with spikes of pigtail and applewood. On the item is an image of a dwarf in gabbro, which is a type of stone. Oh, you're muted.
What you're telling me is that this is a very uncomfortable sock on top of only being one sock.
Yes, there's only one.
Got you.
It is a very fancy sock.
You can't even wear it comfortably. Can you imagine
Mm-hmm.
walking on all those stone and pieces of bone and rock and gems when you're trying to walk around in that fancy sock?
Yeah, you can actually wear it. You can have somebody wear it, but yeah, they only have the one on their foot.
It doesn't do anything. It doesn't give them any
Mm-hmm.
magical powers or anything.
I know the developer is planning on implementing a magic system in one of his upcoming updates for it, but no. The only real advantage to artifacts is that their durability is insane. Essentially, it won't wear out.
Wear out
Yeah.
from what? It's a
Yep.
sock.
Oh, clothing wears out constantly. I think a lot of my dwarves probably short on clothes. Sometimes, if people aren't paying attention, their fortress will just be full of nude dwarves everywhere.
But it's a sock. Like, no one's gonna be wearing that fancy sock.
Nope, I put it on a pedestal and people keep trying to steal it. I'm gonna go interrogate the guy who tried to steal it. He's locked
That's
up right
your
now.
that's your mistake. Pedestal. Anything you put on a pedestal, people are gonna want to steal because why is it on a pedestal? You
Well,
gotta like put it in a sock drawer or something.
but then nobody will be there to look at it, right? Because I was alerted to it because somebody saw him steal it and make a run for it.
I guess that's true.
So I'm looking at moving my little room that I've got the pedestals in into like the main hall where there's even more people, which might mean more people might try to steal it. I mean, I know I moved everybody out of the treasure room, but then people still wandered into it. They're not supposed to be in there, but of course, if you're looking to steal something, why would you care about rules? So I'm gonna put it on display in the main hall, and I'll see how well that goes. Because at least then I'll have just a bunch of people just standing there watching. There we go. Irol Bardar or Bardum
You know what
Gatalmanek.
it is? It's a bunch of people like me. They're like, "What's so good about this sock?" and they're looking at the sock, and they're like, "This is dumb. Why is this one sock on this pedestal?" And then
Oh,
they're like,
that's not even the
"I'm the
best.
troll. I'm gonna steal this sock just because I can."
Yeah, so I just explained to you about that sock. So I have another relic. This one is it's a ghoul sharasar. It is a mule bone floodgate. All dwarfmanship is of the highest quality. It is encrusted with bands of mule bone.
A floodgate.
Yep,
Um,
I'm putting that
is
on a
it's
pedestal.
big though?
Yep, but it's not fancy, so nobody's stealing it.
Oh yeah, it's just a bunch of bones made of bones. How do you steal a gate?
There is a new one that somebody recently made. It might be too new for anybody to take notice, but it is Eteskaltak Bistokorsor. This is a
These
green
names.
glass crown. All craftsman dwarfship is of the highest quality. It is decorated with pigtail, encircled with bands of uh, briolette cut
But
pyrites
it's a crown.
and
You can wear it.
oval rose quartz cabochons. This object menaces with spikes of green glass, saguaro rib wood, and stoneware. On the item is an image of North Fight, the ageless tribute, in the sheer pig tail in giant echidna leather.
Giant
Yeah.
echidna leather.
So it is a green glass crown with fancy stuff and the picture of the sock.
So someone loved that sock enough to make their own artifact with a picture of it on it.
Yes.
That is so dumb. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my whole life.
And there's a hatch cover, Namozib Abir Semor. This is a shale hatch cover. Old dwarfsmanship is of the highest quality. It is studded with bronze and encircled with bands of oval shale cabochons. This object menaces with spikes of copper. On the item is an image of Burr Standard Rooted, the dwarf and dwarves in green glass. Burr Standard Rooted is surrounded by the dwarves. The artwork relates to the ascension of the dwarf, Burr Standard Rooted, to the position of Queen of the Tongues of Fortune in the first year of history.
Okay, so some dork made that one.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's so far. I do have another one, which is just a well decorated totem.
Seriously though, the sock and then the crown memorializing the sock.
Yes.
See, crown is cool. You can wear a crown, but the fact that the crown has a sock picture on it makes it like less good to me.
Yeah, the game takes, like, whenever somebody has an inspiration, they have a certain recipe in mind, but the details of the recipe are based on what items they get to. So you can kind of tailor it so you can deny certain items from there. Like if you wanted him to, use silver as a metal, and silver's one of the items he was going to look for, you can deny all of the other metal bars, and that would make him likely to grab the silver. But aside from that, all the other details and the types of items that they're going to use are very random.
Yeah.
But the images and stuff are also based on the person's personality. So
What does
somebody,
that crown say about someone who's memorializing a sock someone else made?
they probably hung out, saw the sock, and were impressed by the magnificence of the sock. And therefore, when they went to make their own, it was one of the things on their mind, and it probably got drawn out as what he was going to use.
Huh. Still.
Yeah, because I've got engrave, you can get dwarves to engrave images onto walls and stuff, and a lot of my dwarves just randomly engrave whatever they want, but sometimes they'll do something that's historical, Like maybe they saw somebody get killed and then they engrave that, or they maybe did something really fancy and then they engrave that. But oftentimes they'll just do something like a block of cheese.
What the crap?
Well, if you look into that dwarf might be like, they really like cheese, right?
So I'm gonna carve some cheese into something.
Mm-hmm.
Right. They're not super bright, are they? Like, they could have, they could, like, they're really simple. Like, not really, but it's like, I really like cheese, so I'm gonna carve it into my, artifact couch I'm gonna make or something. I don't know.
Well, my mayor really likes shields, so he actually has mandated that we are not allowed to export shields.
You can't ever you can't sell any shields.
Yep.
You have to keep all of them.
And so, like, he will have, sometimes he will, like, if he makes something and there's an image on it, it'll probably have shields on it. Then my mayor, Odin Kathenibel. Let's see, I'm gonna go find him.
Put all this stuff back in storage.
Trade is the lifeblood of a thriving society. That is the quote that pops up when I select the character. Yet he doesn't want to trade shields.
He's like, nope. Yes, trade things, but don't trade my things that I like. Only trade other things. I keep all the things I like for myself. Basically.
Godin Kathenibel likes stoneware, aluminum, red tourmaline, the color of ash gray, shields, blue peafowls for their enormous fan tails, tickmen for their ability to expand, and the sight of the pregnant butterfly. When possible, she prefers to consume cavi, lungfish, and blueberry wine. She absolutely detests worms.
Okay.
Yeah, there's like this massive page of stuff about them. Like, within the last season, she didn't feel anything after being unable to pray to Birdan Crimson Fortune for too long, which is one of the gods that they believe in.
Why couldn't you pray to him?
They probably just didn't have time to go to the temple to pray. And yeah, things like she felt pleasure near a fine door.
Fine door.
She was enraptured, remembering communing with Birdan Crimson Fortune. So that's like, these are like descriptions of buffs and penalties from what they've done through over time. Some of them linger for a while, some of them don't. She felt euphoric due to inebriation, so she got really drunk. She was disgusted after retching on miasma, which is a mist that comes out from rotting corpses and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Because I did, after all, murder a couple of thieves, and then nobody cleaned up the bodies, and then they started to rot and spread miasma gas.
All right. So someone was not doing their job.
I just didn't have a proper corpse storage pile.
Can't you just put them on fire?
I do have a magma pit underground, actually, with a drawbridge and a dump. So I have been dumping some of the bodies into my underground lava lake.
See, that's perfect. It's like it's meant to be.
So I just tell people dump it onto the bridge, and then I pull a lever, and then the bridge slides out, and then the junk all falls down there.
See, everyone should have a lava bridge thing to get rid of all of their junk.
There's some persistent teeth that are sitting on the bridge that didn't quite fall out. Are stuck two Junu's lower left back tooth. He's just sitting on the bridge right now.
Okay. Why is it there? Why is it not in the person's mouth? Is it a corpse?
Yeah, it was a corpse. We smashed the shit out of him, and his head probably exploded, and little bits of teeth flew everywhere.
Got you.
Yeah, the combat is gnarly, after all. Like, I think it's this. Yeah, this elf poet who tried to steal stuff. A fish dissector beat the shit out of him.
That's so silly. All right.